The Cleveland Browns are on red alert, and honestly, the city hasn't felt this kind of tension in years. After a humiliating loss that had fans shaking their heads and the national media having a field day, the entire organization is scrambling to figure out what went wrong and who's going to pay the price. At the center of it all is owner Jimmy Haslam, a man who's never been afraid to make bold moves when the situation demands it. Rumors are swirling that he's ready to pull the trigger on head coach Kevin Stefanski, and insiders are whispering about a shakeup that could happen far sooner than anyone imagined. You know how Jimmy is, he changes his mind constantly. But make no mistake, the pressure is real, and the Browns' front office is feeling it more than ever. Let's be honest, this isn't just another bad season. It's the kind of collapse that makes fans question everything, from the coaching staff to the players, to the very decisions that have been made in the front office over the last few years. And at the center of this storm is the quarterback situation, or more accurately, the lack of a quarterback capable of holding this team together. Joe Flacco, a seasoned veteran with experience and past success, is struggling. His performances have been inconsistent, and one costly mistake after another has the Browns' hopes teetering on the edge. Every interception, every misread, every failed drive adds fuel to the fire. And while Flacco might be battling age or simply a loss of form, it's becoming painfully clear that the Browns can't afford to wait for him to find a miracle turnaround. That's where the real drama starts. Amidst all this chaos, a name keeps coming up in conversations behind closed doors: Shedeur Sanders. Yes, you heard that right. The son of legendary Hall of Famer Dayan, Coach Prime Sanders, a young quarterback who's already generating serious buzz, both on the field and off. While it might sound like a fantasy to some, sources close to the organization insist that the front office is seriously exploring the possibility. They're not just looking for a stopgap. They're searching for someone who can reshape the culture, bring excitement back to the city, and give the Browns the kind of leadership they've desperately needed for decades. The stakes couldn't be higher. Cleveland is a city starved for success, a fan base that's seen far too many seasons end in heartbreak. Every loss is magnified, every bad decision scrutinized, and the pressure is building to a breaking point. And as the whispers grow louder about Shedeur Sanders, the conversation is shifting from "could this happen?" to "when will it happen?" This isn't just about wins and losses. It's about the identity of the franchise, the legacy of the front office, and the hope of a city desperate for change. So buckle up, football family. What's about to unfold in Cleveland could change everything. From a humbling loss to a potentially franchise-altering decision, we're about to dive deep into the chaos, the drama, and the possibilities that lie ahead. And trust me, you won't want to blink, because the Browns are on the edge of a decision that could shock the NFL world. The Cleveland Browns' current situation is nothing short of chaotic, and anyone following this team closely knows it. Sitting at 3-10, the Browns find themselves staring down a season that's slipping through their fingers faster than fans can buy a ticket. Every loss this year hasn't just been a scoreboard defeat. It's a reminder of deeper issues that have been festering for months, maybe even years. From questionable coaching decisions to inconsistent quarterback play, every element of the organization is under scrutiny. And at the center of it all, you can't ignore the glaring elephant in the room: Joe Flacco. Flacco, a former Super Bowl champion, has had his fair share of glory moments in the league, but this season has been a brutal reminder that experience alone doesn't guarantee results. Turnovers, poor reads, and a general lack of mobility have left fans frustrated and front office executives scratching their heads. One interception in particular against the Ravens didn't just cost the team points, it symbolized a season of missed opportunities. The frustration is understandable. Fans have spent years hopping for stability at quarterback, and now, watching Flacco struggle in slow motion, those hopes feel like they're slipping away. And while Joe's loyal coach Kevin Stefanski continues to defend him, insisting that the offensive line and game plan are factors, the cracks are becoming impossible to ignore. But it's not just Flacco. The Browns' woes go beyond one player. Special teams have been inconsistent. The defense has had flashes of brilliance but still allows critical mistakes, and coaching decisions have left more questions than answers. The front office, led by Jimmy Haslam, is reportedly monitoring every angle, every performance, and every decision with increasing concern. December, or in this case, January, has traditionally been a time when Berea starts making tough calls about job security. And this year, with the team's performance sliding, whispers of major shakeups aren't just idle speculation, they're very real possibilities. Adding to the tension is the sheer talent that's sitting underutilized on this roster. You've got players like Myles Garrett in his prime, a defense capable of dominating, and offensive weapons that could change the course of a game if only they were paired with a quarterback who could maximize their potential. The disconnect between talent and results is glaring, and fans aren't afraid to voice their frustration on social media or in the stands. The Browns are caught in a frustrating cycle. A talented roster hindered by poor quarterback play and coaching decisions that haven't yielded the results needed. This context sets the stage for the bigger conversation everyone in Cleveland is now having. What comes next? With every loss, the pressure on Stefanski, Flacco, and the entire front office intensifies. The organization is forced to ask difficult questions. Are we sticking with the status quo and hopping for a miracle? Or is it time for a bold, franchise-altering move that could reset everything? The answers to these questions will define not just the remainder of this season, but potentially the trajectory of the Browns for years to come. The quarterback situation in Cleveland has become the epicenter of every conversation surrounding this team, and for good reason. At 310, it's painfully obvious that something has to change, and for many, that something starts at the most important position on the field. Joe Flacco, once a reliable veteran capable of winning in high-pressure moments, is now struggling to maintain even basic consistency. Every play feels like a gamble, every decision scrutinized under a microscope. One interception here, one misread there, and suddenly the Browns' playoff hopes feel even more distant than they already are. Fans aren't just frustrated. They're questioning whether the team is truly committed to winning this season or simply going through the motions. Flacco's struggles aren't just statistical. They're visible in the way he moves, reads defenses, and reacts under pressure. Against teams like the Ravens, he's looked sluggish, slow to react, and at times almost disinterested. It's one thing to make mistakes. It's another to make mistakes that feel avoidable, almost careless. And the rest of the roster, talented as it is, can only do so much to compensate. Myles Garrett and the defense can generate pressure, and receivers can make plays, but a quarterback who can't consistently get the ball to them effectively leaves the team's potential untapped. It's the classic case of talent misalignment, and it's costing Cleveland dearly. Meanwhile, fans and analysts alike are pointing to alternative options. Dylan Gabriel, for example, has shown flashes of life in limited action, even if it's against prevent defenses late in games. Gabriel's ability to move the ball, manage drives, and make cleaner decisions, even in small sample sizes, has only intensified the scrutiny on Flacco. It begs the question, if a backup can look competent in garbage time, what does that say about the starter? More importantly, it forces the front office to confront the reality that sticking with Flacco might be more about loyalty than results. And in professional sports, loyalty doesn't win games. Then there's the prediction everyone's buzzing about. RG3, a former quarterback who knows what it's like to ride the highs and lows of the NFL, called it. The Browns risk going 0-6 if they don't make a quarterback change. Looking at Cleveland's upcoming schedule, which features some of the toughest teams in the league, that prediction starts to feel all too real. The combination of a declining veteran, tough matchups, and internal chaos is a recipe for disaster. And every analyst, every former player, every fan watching knows it. The pressure isn't just on Flacco, it's on Stefanski too. How long can a coach stick with a quarterback who isn't producing before it starts looking like poor judgment or mismanagement? Every loss, every interception, and every misstep adds weight to the question. When does patience become negligence? Cleveland's season, and possibly the future of the franchise, could hinge on a single, bold decision at quarterback. And that's exactly why the conversation about Shedeur Sanders is no longer just fan speculation. It's now a legitimate topic behind the closed doors of Berea. The quarterback dilemma in Cleveland isn't just about performance. It's about leadership, culture, and the willingness to make the tough calls that define winning organizations. The Browns are at a crossroads, and how they handle this position could determine the next decade of football in Cleveland. Amid all the chaos in Cleveland, one name keeps popping up behind the scenes and across social media: Shedeur Sanders. The son of legendary Hall of Famer Dayan, Coach Prime Sanders, Shedeur isn't just another young quarterback with potential. He's a rare talent with the kind of leadership, mental toughness, and pedigree that could transform the Browns overnight. At a time when the team is floundering, when Joe Flacco is struggling to keep drives alive, and the coaching staff is under immense pressure, Sanders represents more than just a change at quarterback. He represents hope, excitement, and the possibility of an entirely new era in Cleveland football. This isn't some fantasy that fans are joking about online. Sources close to the organization suggest the Browns' front office has been quietly evaluating Sanders as a serious option. And why wouldn't they? The franchise is desperate for a spark, a catalyst who can energize the roster and the city. Sanders isn't just talented. He's been raised in an environment where greatness is expected. Learning under the guidance of one of the most iconic athletes in NFL history, he's developed not only skill, but also the mindset required to handle pressure at the highest level. Confidence, preparation, and leadership aren't things you can teach overnight, and that's what makes Sanders so intriguing. Imagine the ripple effects if Cleveland actually pulls the trigger. Bringing in Shedeur Sanders wouldn't just be about on-field performance, it would be a cultural reset. The Browns have spent years chasing mediocrity, desperately trying to find stability at quarterback. A move like this would signal to the team, the fans, and the entire NFL that Cleveland is no longer willing to accept anything less than excellence. You'd instantly see a shift in the locker room, a renewed belief in the team's direction, and a surge of excitement from a fan base that has been starved for meaningful victories. The potential for Sanders extends beyond football, too. From a marketing perspective, the financial upside is staggering. Jersey sales, ticket renewals, national media coverage — the attention alone could inject millions into the organization. And let's be honest, having the son of Coach Prime leading your team creates storylines and buzz that money simply can't buy. The Browns could become a focal point for media and fans alike, all because of one bold, calculated decision. Of course, the question on everyone's mind is simple. Is Shedeur ready? Can he step into a situation like Cleveland and handle the pressure, the scrutiny, and the expectations? Look at his track record. His composure in big games, his leadership on and off the field, and his ability to perform under pressure all point to a young man who has been groomed for this moment. This isn't an untested prospect who might crumble in the spotlight. This is a quarterback ready to make an impact from day one. The possibility of Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland isn't just a rumor. It's a storyline that could redefine the entire franchise. At a time when the Browns are floundering, when losses are mounting, and when fans are desperate for change, he represents everything the organization has been missing: youth, talent, leadership, and hope. And in a league where bold moves are often the difference between mediocrity and greatness, Sanders might just be the shake-up Cleveland has been waiting for. Bringing Shedeur Sanders to Cleveland wouldn't just be a football decision. It would be a seismic organizational and financial move with far-reaching implications. Jimmy Haslam, the Browns' owner, is no stranger to making bold choices when it comes to protecting and growing his investment. This isn't just about wins and losses on the field. It's about building a franchise that excites fans, energizes players, and creates sustainable value for years to come. Every move he makes is evaluated not only in terms of immediate performance, but also in how it impacts the team's long-term trajectory, revenue streams, and public perception. Let's break it down. From a football perspective, Shedeur Sanders brings a combination of youth, talent, and leadership that the Browns desperately need. He isn't just a potential starter. He's someone who could fundamentally change the culture of the organization. Leadership matters in the NFL. A quarterback isn't just a player. They're the face of the franchise, the rallying point for teammates, and the figure fans look to in moments of triumph and disaster. Sanders' presence could revitalize a locker room, instill confidence in younger players, and create an energy that cascades through every aspect of the team. A motivated roster, after all, is a winning roster. Now, let's talk money, because no decision in professional sports exists in a vacuum. The marketing and financial opportunities associated with Shedeur Sanders are immense. First, there's the immediate impact on merchandise. Jerseys, hats, and other branded gear would fly off the shelves, not just in Cleveland, but nationally. The Browns would instantly tap into the massive fan base of Coach Prime and his family, creating a surge of attention and revenue that few moves could match. Ticket sales and season pass renewals would likely spike as fans flood back into First Energy Stadium, eager to witness the dawn of a new era. Then there's media attention. The narrative practically writes itself. A legendary NFL figure's son stepping in to revive a struggling franchise. National broadcasts, interviews, and features would turn Cleveland into the center of football conversation overnight. That kind of visibility doesn't just elevate the team, it enhances the franchise's value in ways that extend far beyond the gridiron. Sponsors and advertisers would be lining up, seeing an opportunity to attach themselves to the excitement surrounding Sanders' arrival. It's also worth noting the organizational implications. A move like this would send a clear message to the front office, coaching staff, and players. Mediocrity isn't acceptable, and boldness is rewarded. It's the kind of statement that reshapes expectations, shifts accountability, and sets a new standard for excellence. By combining the on-field potential with off-field business advantages, bringing in Sanders could be one of the most strategically sound decisions the Browns have ever considered. In short, this isn't just a quarterback upgrade, it's a comprehensive organizational reset. Haslam has the resources, the motivation, and the vision to make a move that changes everything. For a franchise stuck in cycles of disappointment, the chance to merge football performance with financial upside and cultural transformation doesn't come often. And Shedeur Sanders could be the catalyst that finally makes it happen. The Cleveland Browns aren't just struggling on the field, they're teetering on the edge of a full-blown internal meltdown, and at the center of it is Kevin Stefanski. The pressure on him has never been greater. Every loss, every misstep by the offense, and every critical interception by Joe Flacco adds to the heat bearing down from the front office, the media, and most importantly, the fans. Stefanski's decisions are under constant scrutiny, and the way he manages, or mismanages, the quarterback situation could very well determine whether he keeps his job. At this point, coaching in Cleveland isn't just about X's and O's, it's about survival. One of the most telling signs of chaos is how Stefanski handled the fourth-quarter benching of Flacco. It wasn't just a game decision, it was a statement about the internal tension. He acted calm and composed during the post-game press conference, but anyone watching closely could see the cracks. Every word was calculated, every pause deliberate, because Stefanski knew cameras were rolling, and Jimmy Haslam was watching. The subtle nervousness, the deflection in his answers, all revealed the immense pressure he's under. This wasn't about strategy, it was damage control. Compounding the issue is Stefanski's loyalty to Flacco. In a vacuum, loyalty is admirable, but in a results-driven league like the NFL, stubbornly sticking with a quarterback who's visibly struggling starts to look less like loyalty and more like poor judgment. The front office is acutely aware that time is running out. Every practice, every game, and every loss adds to the mounting evidence that inaction could be more damaging than making a bold change. Fans don't just notice wins and losses, they notice hesitation, indecision, and excuses. And right now, Cleveland is saturated with them. The ripple effects extend far beyond Flacco and Stefanski. The entire coaching staff is feeling the heat. Coordinators are scrambling to adjust game plans to compensate for offensive deficiencies, while defensive units, though talented, have to compensate for poor field position and time of possession issues caused by turnovers. Players are frustrated, morale is low, and internal trust is strained. When a team operates under this level of chaos, even the best athletes struggle to perform at their peak. Confidence erodes, communication falters, and mistakes multiply, a vicious cycle that's already visible in Cleveland's 3-10 record. Meanwhile, the front office is quietly taking notes. Jimmy Haslam and his executives are evaluating every detail: Flacco's performance, Stefanski's decision-making, and the overall cohesion of the team. This is where speculation about Shedeur Sanders gains traction. The internal chaos isn't just about individual failures, it's about opportunity. The Browns have talent waiting to be maximized, but they need a quarterback and leadership capable of restoring order and confidence. Sanders represents that potential reset, a chance to cut through the disorder and redirect the franchise toward stability and success. Cleveland's coaching chaos is more than a storyline. It's a critical factor shaping the next steps for the franchise. Every press conference, every benching, every loss is a test, not just for the team on the field, but for the decision-makers running the organization. And as tension mounts, one question looms over Berea. Will Stefanski make the tough choices, or will the Browns' leadership be forced to hit the reset button themselves? In Cleveland, the fan base doesn't just watch football, they live and breathe it. And after the Browns' string of disappointing performances, frustration across social media, forums, and local sports shows is at an all-time high. Fans aren't holding back, and every misstep by Joe Flacco, Kevin Stefanski, or the front office seems to amplify their outrage. From Twitter rants to heated YouTube comment sections, the message is loud and clear. Something has to change, and it has to happen now. The Browns' loyal followers, who have endured decades of mediocrity, aren't just asking for solutions, they're demanding them. Social media has become a barometer for the organization's pressure cooker. Clips of Flacco's interceptions are shared with snarky captions, debates over Stefanski's decisions rage endlessly, and the Shedeur Sanders conversation has exploded online. Hashtags trend, fans dissect every play, and analysts provide endless commentary, all reinforcing the narrative that Cleveland is on the verge of a major shakeup. This isn't just noise, it's a reflection of the high stakes involved. Front offices don't operate in isolation, and when a city this passionate makes its opinions heard, it inevitably factors into decision-making. Media outlets, both local and national, have been relentless. Commentators are dissecting every aspect of the Browns' struggles, often framing the season as a cautionary tale about leadership, loyalty, and accountability. RG3's prediction about a potential 0-6 start has been widely cited, and his analysis gives fans and analysts alike a framework for understanding how fragile the Browns' situation has become. Meanwhile, sports talk radio and national broadcasts have fueled speculation about the quarterback position, the coaching staff, and the possibility of a bold move involving Shedeur Sanders. The coverage isn't just reporting events, it's shaping expectations, amplifying pressure, and creating a sense of urgency that the team can't ignore. Fan forums and YouTube comment sections reveal a mix of desperation and hope. Some fans are calling for immediate changes, demanding that Flacco be benched and Sanders be brought in. Others argue for patience, insisting that one season doesn't define a franchise. Yet even the most cautious supporters can't ignore the buzz surrounding Sanders. The idea of Coach Prime's son stepping in has captured imaginations, and speculation about his potential impact has become a cultural conversation that extends far beyond the field. From merchandise discussions to debates about ticket sales, fans are already imagining what life would look like under a Sanders-led Browns era. The combined weight of fan frustration and media scrutiny is creating a high-pressure environment for everyone in Berea. The organization can't simply ignore what's happening outside its walls. Every tweet, every headline, every passionate comment is a reminder that this isn't just a losing season. It's a defining moment for the franchise. And as speculation grows about Shedeur Sanders, the front office and coaching staff are forced to weigh not only on-field performance but public perception and momentum. In a city like Cleveland, where football is almost a religion, fan and media reactions aren't just commentary. They're part of the equation shaping the team's next move. As the Browns teeter on the edge of another disappointing season, all eyes are on Berea, wondering what moves the front office will make and when. The speculation around Shedeur Sanders isn't just idle chatter anymore. It's becoming a tangible possibility, and timing is everything. Every loss, every failed drive by Joe Flacco, and every questionable decision by Kevin Stefanski adds urgency to a situation that's already on a knife's edge. The question isn't whether the Browns need change. It's how quickly they're willing to act, and what steps they'll take to alter the course of this season. Looking at the calendar, Cleveland doesn't have much time to make a major decision without risking a catastrophic slide. With some of the league's toughest teams coming up, the next few weeks could make or break not just the season, but the perception of the front office's competence. If the team continues on its current trajectory, fans could be looking at a 0-6 start that aligns eerily well with RG3's prediction. That level of failure would make any discussion about quarterback changes inevitable, whether the coaching staff likes it or not. So what could happen, and when? One possibility is that the Browns make a midseason evaluation of Flacco and Stefanski, taking a hard look at performance metrics, team morale, and the overall trajectory of the season. This could be followed by a formal decision, either double down on the current plan or pivot toward a younger, franchise-changing quarterback. If the latter path is chosen, discussions with Shedeur Sanders and his representatives could begin immediately, potentially leading to a high-profile, game-changing acquisition that shocks the league. The domino effect of such a decision would be massive. Stefanski's job security would hang in the balance, the offensive scheme would need a rapid redesign, and the roster would have to adjust to a new leader in the huddle. Fans would react almost instantly, with season ticket sales, social media chatter, and media coverage spiking as excitement, or skepticism, takes hold. Every stakeholder, from players to front office executives, would feel the immediate impact of this bold move, setting the stage for a dramatic turnaround, or, if mismanaged, a deeper collapse. Another scenario is that the Browns choose to wait. Hopping Flacco can stabilize and the coaching staff can recalibrate. This path is far riskier, as it relies on a veteran who's shown consistent struggles and a schedule that doesn't offer easy wins. The longer they wait, the more momentum is lost, and the more desperate the team looks both on the field and in the eyes of fans. Delay could also diminish the opportunity to bring Sanders in midseason, as other teams would be monitoring his availability and readiness. Ultimately, the next steps for Cleveland boil down to courage and timing. Will Jimmy Haslam and the front office have the bravery to make a bold, potentially franchise-altering move? Or will they cling to the status quo and hope for a miracle that may never come? In a league where timing is critical and decisions define legacies, the coming weeks could determine not just the outcome of this season, but the direction of the Browns for the next decade. Every game, every play, and every internal discussion now carries unprecedented weight.
If you enjoyed today's breakdown and want to keep up with all the drama, trades, and behind-the-scenes action in the NFL, then don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps this channel grow and lets us know you love this kind of content. And hey, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with your friends, your group chats, or anyone who loves football as much as you do. The more the conversation spreads, the better it gets. Most importantly, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss when we drop fresh stories, wild rumors, or breaking updates that the mainstream media won't talk about.